Hey guys, Dale Walker at Holeshot Performance. Well, this is the day after the ride up on the mountain with Rusty here, my 2020 Yamaha Tracer GT Grand Tour. And anyway, I just wanted to go over my cosmetic cleanup, how I'm setting the bike up, how I like, and I want to show you how I did it. It's not done yet, but to this point, and I've taken off almost exactly 20 pounds, pretty much. And I'm going to show you how I did it, what's changed, and go over the bike. So we're going to change it from a Grand Tour GT to a Grand Sport, I'm calling it. So let me pick up the camera and I'll get started. There's Rip Jr. He's resting. He's the Twisty Road Killer. Here's Mr. Green. He's right there with Rip Jr. Just nostalgia factor. So cool and beautiful. And then we got Rusty, which is the 2020 Tracer GT. Now Grand Sport. Anyway, here's my pile of parts. I was never a big fan of hand guards because I don't ride in cold weather, to be honest with you, and these are so small I don't think they do much. But Yamaha did a pretty good job. They're pretty lightweight, but I removed the front blinkers and the hand guards. The rear foot pegs and mounts are super heavy. What I didn't like is right in this area here, when they're on the bike, well, it'd be like so. When you start riding aggressively on a mountain road and get on the balls of your feet or even on the front part of your foot, your heel hits on this pretty noticeably and it's really distracting. And so anyway, 4 bolts, you can take those off and on like nothing. Obviously they have to be on there to mount your bags and so on. And some people will never really have a problem because you're touring or whatever. But if you ride aggressively in the canyons, you're gonna not like that. That's kind of a design flaw. Okay, and then of course the ugly back fender. This is about 3.5 pounds, this whole assembly. Like I say, everything's pretty lightweight for the size, except for those. Okay, and then you got the Tonka horns. God, I can't stand those things. Just, you know, poking back there like that. But anyway, and those are off. And I don't ride any passenger. If I do, I can put those on. And then the center stand I took off because I would touch it. Maybe not. But I put spools on the bike. I have a bike lift for me, and I have a rear stands. So I ended up taking that off. But surprisingly, that thing is only about 3.5 pounds, which is really good. It maybe 3.8 pounds or something with the spring because it's humongous. What's nice is the nuts are made on the frame. They're welded onto the frame in the back, tack welded, so it's not a hassle to get it off other than a technique for the spring and so on. So that's what I changed. Also, obviously, the Galfer full floating rotors. I haven't weighed them, but I would say they're probably at least 1/2 pound lighter each. So you're talking maybe 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds total for all 3 rotors. Okay, so let me now go over the bike. All right, so obviously we've got the full floating rotors. We've got the Galfer beautiful brake lines with the black anodized banjos. Okay, this screen is from Slip Screen from the UK. They have some eBay ads. We got reflections in here, sorry for my skylights. But the problem was it didn't fit right. It was crooked. I think they forgot to send me spacers because when I bolted it up, the stock bolts would barely reach the well nuts, and then when I squeezed it down, it bound up, was against her, and it bound up the slider. So I kind of had it put away. I let them know I was really close to cutting off my stock screen, and then I looked up how much they cost. Said I don't think so. So I got this one out, and I bought nylon, 1/4-inch nylon spacers, some 5mm by 25mm little screws, and that was enough to mount it correctly. It's centered pretty good, it's cut out pretty nice, but it was kittywampus like this. This was about 3/8 of an inch taller on here. So I took a risk and I taped it off, taped the whole thing off, and I trimmed that sucker. And you can tell by looking here how wide that is compared to this side's wider, right? And it's still not perfect, but it's darn close. Okay, I think it looks really neat. It's down all the way. I tried to make it clear my camera mount. My camera mount is still, I need to work on it. It's got too many, a little much vibration going on. But yeah, I think the screen, little screen like this, it actually, it doesn't have the buffeting the stock screen does. You know, it doesn't stop the wind, just a tiny bit, but it's not super loud. So I think it looks really clean. Okay, then come up to here. I was investigating levers, and the Vortex is another really high quality lever, like a CRG. Okay, and they're a little more reasonably priced. And they're a 6-click adjustment with the little adjuster here. I did have to take a teeny bit off the little relieve these a little bit. They were like 12mm wide, the little standoffs that are machined on here, and I had to take it off to about 11.85. And what would happen is you put the brake on, this wouldn't return all the way, and so the parts vary, even the stock master cylinder, a teeny bit, but other than that, they are the correct ones. They fit perfect. God, they feel great on your hand. And this thing is like a 1 or 2 finger braking, and it looks so much cleaner without the hand guards. Just wanted to give you another little side view and walk around to the levers, and I'll show you. We can get the glare off of here. Click, see? What's nice is very small increments. You can really dial it in nicely. It's not a big jump. Really slick. Anyway, I am now a dealer for Vortex. So if you got a sport bike or a tracer or something like that, you can shoot me an email, dlwalker@holeshot.com, or you can give me a call at the shop, 775-463-5394, and I can check out the levers for you. Okay, so then I took some 1250 Bandit Suzuki bar ends that are reasonably heavy. So the stock Yamaha bars have a threaded insert made in the bar, 8mm. So I had to modify these. This one is countersunk with the giant drill bit in my drill press, trying to hang on to that thing. It took me a few hours dinking around very gently, and then I had to open this up from 6 to clear the 8mm Allen head, and that's a gap that they were stock, and I tried to match that and got it pretty darn close. This side didn't have to relieve it at all, but it made a difference. These are a teeny bit tingly, and it definitely calmed it down. So I think that looks really sano. Okay, then here the front blinkers are gone. The big ugly bulbous old school floppy blinker. I mean, they're not even like the Yamaha. Well, for example, look at, you know, here's Rip Jr. I mean, at least they're improved, right? Modern. And Mr. Green, a little bigger but modern, clean, right? Those I might even have left on, but these suckers had to go. So these are a little LED, comes with the resistors, and I got these and the rear fender eliminator kit and the rear tail light with integrated blinkers, all LED, from that company Moto Dynamics on eBay. I've used their rear fender eliminator kit on about 4 bikes. Fits beautiful, reasonably priced, and this stuff worked. So what I did here is the running light was built into the little blinkers, okay? And so, I mean, excuse me, yeah, the running light would be on all the time, and there wasn't enough contrast. When you put the blinker, you're only getting half the LED. So I got rid of the running light, tied it all into the blinker. So let me turn it on. I'll show you. And you know, we're in the daylight here from my. Yeah, they're plenty bright. Are they legal? Probably not. You know, DOT sticking out the side, but you can see them. And at least they're not sunken way back in, you know? So even a car next to you or at an angle can see those things blink. Yeah, the rear I'll have to set up my little tripod and show you. So there's the front blinkers. Turn the key back off. And yeah, so here is what it looks like without the, excuse me, on my knees. Here's the rear pegs removed, obviously, but there's a plate you have to go through here and here, and man, it was bound up from the factory. So if you do this, you're going to use two 8x125 pitch, 8mm 125 Allens on this side, 16 millimeters long, and on the other side where the brake reservoir, 20 millimeters, two 20s and two 16s on this side. And then I got a little stainless washer under here to just make it look clean. But what you do is you take these four little bolts loose. That's the whole bracket that mounts on here, and then the threads are back in the frame. And it was in a bind. It wasn't lined up very good. And I loosened back these all off. Then I ran a stock bolt in and out 3 or 4 times because they have some Loctite on them. Then they started no problem. That's a little tip there for you. I know I'm going to miss something, of course, I'm senile. Okay, here's the Evotech radiator guard. It's real clean. I've used these in Cox Racing. I've been using these now the last three bikes. Fit like a glove. Really nice. Okay, now let me show you before I have to put it on the tripod. So here's the Fender Eliminator. It does come with, turn the key back on, a nice LED license plate light. Okay. And up under here is how it mounts. I swear it's one of the easiest ones I've ever installed in my entire life. Underneath the rear seat, there's nothing in the way of the nuts. You just take those 4 bolts out, you slide this up with their bolts they supply, stainless Allens. I think they're 20 millimeter long. They got new little washers and nylock lock nuts, and snug it down, and you run your wires through. I'll pull the seat off and I'll show you that in a minute. And then here's the other side, how it looks with the peg removed. So it's got a nice bracket for the reservoir, your tension adjuster on the shock, so it looks clean. Like I say, 4 bolts, you can put it all back on, your bags go right back on. The original Tonka horns, grab rails mount right here and right here, so just 4 bolts, those go right back on. I mean, you can do it, once it's set up so those threads down there line up, I mean, you can change the thing in, how long is it going to take you? 10-15 minutes at the most. Stock seat, I ended up liking it. I put it on the low setting. When I was just putting around here at first, I thought it was downhill a little too much. It's not. You sit down in the back that way, lower center of gravity, thing really handles good. I'm really impressed with this bike. You know, it's a little bigger than those bikes over there, you know, but I think these weigh in the 460 range with the full tank of gas without the bags. So, you know, I've pulled off like 20 pounds now probably. So that's pretty good. And when we get rid of this tuna boat exhaust down here, I'm going to show you something, a little treat before this at the end of this video. That'll be coming up soon. So let me So the key's on. That's how bright it is. But I've got to reach up and pull the brake and hold the camera and all that stuff. So I'll put that on a tripod. Let me take the seat off real quick. I'm going to turn this off, get the camera set up, and I'll be right back. Yeah, another thing I added before I show you under the seat is the Jivvy little tank ring cam lock tank bag. I've been using these for years. This is the smallest one they make. Otherwise, you know, if you're out running solo, you got to have a backpack on and stuff, which is still okay. If you have a backpack, you loosen it up all the way, and actually on this bike it sits on the rear seat pretty good, but it's still hanging on you. Pain. Anyway, these things are slick. I'm trying to do this with one hand, and I just did. See that? And see, it doesn't contact the tank. They make all different mounts for different bikes, so that's what I run when I'm not making these movies and stuff, and I'm out on a day ride, whatever. Works pretty slick. On a lot of my other bikes and projects and bandits and things, I've made my own sport rack, and I have the small little Jivvy case. I was thinking about making one for this bike actually, but I don't know if I'm gonna. Anyway, so yeah, here's your 4 bolts where the Fender Eliminator bolts on. Couldn't be easier than that. Here's the rear blinkers, and this is what the resistors look like that are also underneath the side panel when you install those up there. And I've got them tucked right here. They're against metal. I just sucked down with some nylon ties, and then the blinker wires, the tail light, and of course the license plate light. Everything's tucked in this little thing just like stock. It's all clean and tidy. Here's your stock mounting point for the Tonka Tonka horns. I just put the bolts back in cosmetically. They don't do anything. This just holds it on anyway. Sure, you got the little slot there, but I still think it looks better than the big old things hanging out the back. And the little toolkit, which is a wrench and a screwdriver, sits right here in straps. So, okay guys, sorry for the wind noise. It is about 100 degrees outside in my building. I got the my swamp cooler fan on over there. So let's get the key. You can program the tail light to do different things. This is how it came, which I thought was kind of neat. I just left it. So first you got your LEDs that are super bright. And when you touch the brake, it blinks twice, like a warning blink. Then the tail light, brake light comes on. Is that slick? You know how people in cars are. They don't look, pretty neat, huh? And the blinker kind of starts out, has a green tint, and then goes to yellow, and it's like a little arrow, but it's big and bright. Here's your right blinker. Isn't that neat? It's hard to tell with the camera. Camera doesn't really pick up the LED very good, but trust me, that is bright. Here, I don't know if you can see it better. You can barely see a little green tint. Neat, huh? Yeah, I was impressed with it. It fit right in, plugged right in. And like I say, all the blinker resistors, front and back, work perfect. That's your blink rate, like I showed you in the front. I'll leave it going. See, hit the tripod and make this ugly. Okay, turn it off. Be right back. Okay, one final thing I want to talk about before I tell you the last tasty treat is the handlebars. And just like the MT10, I don't know, the MT09 may be the same way, or they may have a little bit more sweep back. These bars, in my opinion, are too straight. They don't have enough sweep. They just need a little bit more sweep back to them. The height is fine. They're still sporty enough. They're not too high because they do it all with the standoffs here, the risers for this bike. But I'm sitting on the bike holding all this, trying to do it myself. Right here, the curved part of your thumb, right in that part, on me, when I ride it at least, when my hand's on here, my arm is inward a little bit on my natural position, and right here, that surface of my thumb, right there, after a while, I feel like it's totally bound up on both sides, forcing it. I have to stick my elbows out in an unnatural position where I'm not going to ride. You know, I can't make my arms longer. Or it starts hammering my thumb there and my fingers on the outside, believe it or not. And that's the same thing that the MT10 felt like. Now, the MT09, Rip Jr. over there, the 21, it may be the same way. I only rode that thing short spurts. This, I've taken it out twice now, you know, 150, 180 miles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I got two options. I make a set of my own sport touring bars, but they're a little taller than these. And then I'd have to run my little sleeves to match the 1 1/8", or whatever these are, probably 28 millimeter, I guess. But I mean, doing that, I don't know. They're bitchin' bars as far as the sweep and everything. But I think I'll try looking at some pro tapers. I'll try to make some measurements. That's the problem, ordering bars and having them wrong, but not be able to return them, right? So, but you know, they need to come back just a smidgen. You know, maybe a little bit more of an angle right here. Man, they'd be perfect. So I think that's my next thing I'm going to try to do. And then eventually we'll get the bike on the dyno. This bike all stock. The reason I'm going to start on this one first is because I already have an exhaust that I'm about to show you. And the Rip Jr., the 21 MT09. I want to wait for a few options, maybe Black Widow or something like that, when they're more reasonably priced, and then do that one later, because I have all my stuff coming up. Matter of fact, Tuesday's my PET scan for my cancer thing. And unfortunately, just last week, my wife, Lisa, that's a lot younger than me, we just found out she has thyroid cancer, growth on her thyroid. So we're both in really great shape, and this is really a bummer. So anyway, let me get the header over there, and I'll go over that, and then let's wrap up this video. Okay, guys, what I got here is the Lextech 3-in-1, all stainless, all hand TIG welded, crossover tubes, beautiful welds. It's got the O2 bung, spring mount to the mid pipe. I'll show you in a second here. And I just weighed this and the mid pipe, the spaghetti pipe. Wait till you see this thing. Yeah, is this thing nice or what? Look at that. Pretty clean, huh? It's got a little triple merge collector in there. You know, the Lextech is also right there with Black Widow, price-wise and quality. On the green bike, what I didn't like is they changed the mid-pipe, and then I couldn't make the, you know, wouldn't be able to get it. We'll see how this fits first before we get too excited. And obviously they put effort into making this extra loop that's behind the engine underneath, kind of. It must make more horsepower or torque, because they did it on purpose. Yeah, look at that. Is that thing nice or what? Except for the fly. Beautiful. Even the welds on the bracket are nice. So they make like 3 different versions, and I just hope they don't discontinue this one. And the reason I picked this one is where the stock muffler is right here. Ugh. My knees and my ankle. This exit tube is going to come out and mount a conventional muffler. Okay, obviously I can't hold it up there in there, but it's going to snake right through here. It's going to come out and probably be about right in this area. So we got all this room here. You can kind of tell there's a mounting bolt. Okay, so yeah, there's the mounting bolt right in there, and I'm just eyeballing it, and that's about here. Okay, so yeah, the exit point, yeah, right in this area is going to be kind of where the end of the stock muffler is. So that means one of my mufflers could be on about here. Let me grab one. Yeah, so I weighed the pipe and the mid pipe I'm showing you here, and it's just under 7 pounds. My muffler, a 14-inch, is about 3.5 pounds. So you get a hanger bracket and my outside clamp and blah blah blah, and it may be 4 pounds, something like that. So anyway, here's a 14, and when it's slid on, it's probably going to be right around in that area. Okay, and that looks pretty decent. I'm trying to hold everything here. That's you know, just past the rear axle, so even a 17 is only going to be back this area. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'll probably have to make a saddle bracket that will snake behind the stock foot peg. Obviously I got to make it clear, everything clear the pegs. So we'll see. I'll get one all made up, prototype, a rough version, and then I'll make sure that Lextech's not going to discontinue this pipe before I get carried away. But if they're going to keep this one, then I'll make a whole kit that will fit the bike, and you can choose which Holeshot muffler, whether you want comp, street, 10, 14, or 17. Should be fun. So anyway, I think that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I think I'm going to do a little comparison of these 3 bikes and give you my opinion on them next. So I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. This is Dale at Holeshot Performance. Please subscribe, hit the bell, give me a thumbs up, and shoot some prayers my way. Thanks guys, appreciate everything.